Every Monday, free event here at Star City Studios.
I
Come
just
check
came
it
back
out.
from Coronado and everything, and I'm working with my students over there. But Eric invited me down. Came down. It's my first time here. It's a pretty good thing here. I like this.
Right?
Lots of student musicians, everything. You guys, please listen to what Bruno says. Format is the key. Format is the key. Because you're surprising some of us, all right? So format is the key on that. And how about for Pancho, Anguiano, and Bishop?
So if you're a musician, come on down, bring your instrument.
Thank you,
If you're
Sam.
just
Whoever you
a
are,
fan
thank you.
and want to listen, everyone's welcome. Swing on down every
Josh?
Monday. It's
Thank
different.
you, Josh. Who's the drummer? Who's the drummer?
Liz.
Liz. Where do you play, Liz? Huh? Oh, good.
This is everywhere, actually.
This is
Yeah.
everywhere. How about it, man? It's good. I'll be back again, but I haven't eaten all day. So if you guys don't speak, I gotta go eat. I'm starving, and I gotta go play poker. That's my program. Give it down.
Okay, so just really quick before we do this next 2 minutes, you guys. So for everybody that was looking, there was the thing. There's another thing that involves in the form is like understanding the styles. Like for instance, like a drummer. For instance, like you don't have chord changes. You don't have any of that stuff. You have like form, and usually in a tune you stay in the same style, like swing or whatever. But there are some jazz standards, like the one that was just played. It's called on in Green Dolphin Street. What happens is that for the A section, it's 60 measures of Latin, and then it goes to swing for 60 measures. Then it goes back to Latin, then it goes back to swing. And when you're gonna do a tune like that, first of all, number one, please know it, because what ended up happening over there, Liz, is that you didn't know what was going on, and you guys had a disconnect between you and Pancho. And so, what you should do is you should discuss a few things with these songs. Number one, I always ask, are we going to stay Latin swing, or are we going to stay with just one style? Because sometimes what will happen is that you'll play the song and you'll be like Latin swing, and you'll be like, I don't want to switch all the time. It makes me feel weird, right? So be like, let's just do it all swing, or let's just do it all Latin. And you can discuss that before you start, and that'll be a normal thing. What are we playing? Green Dolphin Street. Cool. What key? E flat or C are the two common ones. Are you guys going to stick to the form, or you want us to keep it swing? And you could say stuff like that. Now, what Billy and Pancho ended up doing, they were like, okay, she doesn't know the song, so they just took it to swing. And they kept it somewhere where it was able to breathe, right? And so that's why the song was able to kind of function at the end, because they listened to the disconnect. There was not a shared knowledge of what's going on in the moment, and so they had to react to each other. And of course, Billy Towns, being the amazing guy he is, he's like, okay, let's fix it on the spot. And you use musical cues, and that's the most important thing as a musician, is to listen the whole time. Because if you screw up, like, there is nothing but everybody around you that you can do, right? And so you have to kind of hinge onto those kind of things. So know those forms and talk about what's happening in the solo. All right, and you can even, and especially like on a Latin tune, it's very standard for like a drummer to solo on a Latin tune, because you can do like an ostinato thing where it's like, oh, everybody's gonna play that. It's a really cool thing to solo on as a drummer. You'd be like, hey, I want, I just want to. You can, as a drummer, you can say, hey, I want to solo at the end. Let me solo at the end, and they'll just hold the line, and the drummer will go off, and the drummer can end the song in those moments. Okay, and so you really have to have those verbal conversations. Don't just go up to a jam and be like, all right, let's do it. And it's like, it's not a jazz jam, at least. There are like quote unquote rules. This is one of the rules. Make sure you know the tune, make sure you know the styles, and then have the conversation, especially with those difficult tunes. So that's
And if you can have the conversation, just follow the leader.
And of course, a veteran musician will always like, if a conversation doesn't happen before it should have, and you're in the moment, you smile. For me, it's always you smile, you pretend it's the best song you've ever played, you keep on going. Because music doesn't stop, and that's the thing, is that you also have to learn that as well. And I'll end it with this story. I went to Amsterdam, jazz camp a million years ago. It was in conjunction with the Manhattan School of Music and the Conservatorium von Amsterdam. They do this every year. It's called Keep an Eye on Jazz, and it's a summer camp with people from all over the world. And I was so freaking intimidated. It was like 7-8 years ago, and I was on a session, and they called a tune, and I got freaking lost, man. And the drummer knew it, the guitarist knew it, and everybody in the session is a musician, so you could just all see that I'm lost. And the guitarist, God bless his soul, was like, bro, here's the melody. And he played the melody and was like, thank you, and I found it, and we kept on going. And so it was like, those are real like life situations, you know. It's like, oh shoot, well, find each other, find it, look at each other. Don't just sit there and be like, you know, like, figure something out. Use your ears, use your eyes. You have to say something, sometimes you didn't have to say it, you know? And so don't be afraid, don't be so timid and be so stuck. Just like, feel a little bit more freedom. It's a conversation, it's just not with words. So, all right, anyway.
Audio?
This is a tune by a guy named Sonny Rollins called Audio.
Alright, I'll pass you one of those. Swing, pass one. Swing, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Where's Bruno?
Here, man. You wanna
You
go
can
ahead?
have your round back.
Is there any other like bass players or there's a couple more singers, drummers? Another bass player, another singer.
Sing again.
What tune do you know?
Thank you, man.
Oh, yeah. Heavy Hancock? Sissy Strut? Okay, what about,
I did a lot of
blues? Sissy Struts?
Yeah.
Do you know, the Cantaloupe Island or something? What Cantaloupe Island?
Yeah.
You guys know Sissy Strut?
No, not really.
It's just like it's like a C thing.
I came out here just to serve in the Army right back in 2019. The band that I had was Montage, and that's the name of my band when I had it over in Alabama. So back in 2018, this was one of the songs that I had to encourage the band to play because I always believed in doing instrumentals before somebody came up to sing. So give me a moment. I know this record, and we're gonna have a good time with it. Well, thank you so very much. Thank you.
Alright. Okay, so that was a tune called Sissy Strut, and that song is, that one is, I don't know about it's like all that necessarily like a jazz tune. It just, it kind of depends the way like you see situations. It's definitely improvisational. And this is what we call it. It's a vamp. It's one chord. And so there is no form on this kind of thing, which makes it really, really open. And like when you're talking about jazz history and stuff like that, there was like a disconnect between like what like Coltrane started to do. He started to get really crazy with his chord changes, to be really intricate with those changes. And then you have the other stuff like Miles Davis would do. And it was really open like that. And it's like one chord you could stick to whatever you wanted, and it didn't matter because it was just one chord. There was no form. That's like really conversational. It's a really cool thing to do with jazz as well, like modern jazz. And so it's a good thing to solo on, especially if you're trying to just solo in general and stuff like that. Just trying to get your soloing chops up. But yeah, if you're gonna call a tune like that, just you start know the lick. And it's just literally it's just like that. So anyway, all right. So do we have any other bass players up here? Around here? I mean, of course, I would love to play. All right. Any horn players?
Yes.
Oh, you wanna come up?
Caravan.
Huh?
Caravan.
Caravan? Do you know Caravan? Never heard of Caravan? Okay. Any other guitarist that knows Caravan? No? You know chord changes?